Hi everybody. I've decided on my next model project and I'm a little torn about it. So I'll just get into it. This is the project. There's no unboxing because it didn't come in a box. I got this from eBay. Someone somewhere, well, there's a lot of someone's, apparently have a bunch of extras of these from their Indominus box set. And so they're selling off pieces. There's a ton of these guys, a bunch of other stuff. And so this is the Primaris Captain, I believe. And so I don't have a lot of elite choices in my army yet. I mean, I've got a couple. I've got the Captain Artemis. He's done, and he's fine. I mean, he looks fine. I haven't played a game yet, so I don't know if he's fine, but he's there. He could be a warlord choice, but I do like a little bit more flexibility, I think, so I can kind of play around with different things. So I've got that guy. I've got a Terminator Captain from the Space Marines Heroes that I can kit out. I can field him as my captain. He's got Terminator armor. I think that might be a good choice. But yeah, I wanted a bit of flexibility, and so I went out and did that. The experience was fine. Like I picked one, I bought it, it got shipped. There was no issue whatsoever. But I don't have a lot of experience with eBay. I feel a little weird about buying stuff like that. And more to the point, I feel a little weird buying Warhammer 40K models on a third-party basis. Now, I know a lot of people do it. There's a lot of YouTubers that talk about it. And there's one I've seen on this person goes on eBay and finds like big bulk lots of models, and he rescues them if they're in bad shape. It's a pretty cool concept. He indicates that he saves quite a bit of money that way. I think maybe he rescues them, rehabilitates them, paints them, and then sells them for a nice little profit. But it's kind of like music, or I don't know, books. The reseller, when you resell something, the original manufacturer, the people who own the IP, don't see anything out of that transaction, and I'm torn. I don't have a clear cut. This is right. This is not right. I can see both sides. So anyway, I've been hesitant, and I finally did it just because it strikes me as a big part, or at least a part, of the Warhammer 40K hobby experience, trading figures with other players. So I bit the bullet. I tried it. I still don't know how to feel about it. Maybe you guys have some thoughts. Who knows? But yeah, this dude is going to get globbed next. Just realized this isn't my typical cycle of videos. You normally do buy a thing, I unbox it in one video, I show you all the sprues, and then in another another video I'll build it, and then a third video I'll paint it and kind of show it off a little bit. So since there's no unboxing, let's just do the unboxing at the same time as the building. Yeah. So typically I'll go through all the contents of the sprue. So there's our captain. It's the legs and the body are attached to each other. There's quite a bit of detail. There's a lot of little dangly bits here that are going to be fun to paint and mess up. I foresee a lot of gold metallic paint in this model's future. The back part of it is, here are the legs, and there's this big old gap. That's his torso is split not quite in half, but so there's that. Okay, so here is the torso. So this goes on the back. That would complete this kind of the body almost in its entirety. There's the back armor plate. There's the, I don't know, cape. And this big ol' holster. My understanding is that the Primaris models have kind of bolter-sized holsters, which is a cool concept. I always had trouble wrapping my head around that the bolt pistol went in a tiny little holster. So this is a lot more kind of consistent. It looks neat. Painting capes is always fun. This is, I guess, his left arm. He's holding another little dangly bit. There's this piece, which is like a little armor flourish. It goes, looks like it goes right there. There's a little peg on the back here. I don't know, is this a push-to-fit model? I don't know. It might be. It's got the pegs for the arms, and they go into the shoulders. So this might be a push-to-fit model. I probably will not assemble it as a push-to-fit. I'll probably hack off these pegs and glue everything down. The only time I would, the only time I wouldn't glue stuff down is if I'm magnetizing, and I don't think that's going to happen here. I want to kind of build the kit, just, I just don't know enough yet to kind of swap around his armament yet, right? And so, like for example, here he's got a shield. I think it's a storm shield. Maybe it's called something. Maybe the storm shield is smaller. This is a different kind of shield. And so it's got his arm kind of resting there. To be quite honest, if it wasn't pushed to fit, I'm not sure how I would go about magnetizing this. It's all pretty much designed to fit together in one chunk. You would have to do a lot of kit bashing. That's beyond my skill level. So I'm going to keep it basically as it is. Maybe I'll pose the arms a little different or whatever. But so there's that. So here's the shield. It's got some more dangly bits on it. There's this thing. I don't know what that is. Maybe it goes into the base. I'm not entirely sure. It's possible because so the legs, the body has a peg that would go into that, and so maybe that has a peg. It does not have a peg. Never mind. What else has a peg? Oh, here are your pegs. So this is like a rock that he's standing on. So he goes onto the rock goes onto the base. Okay, that's neat. It gives it some elevation. I can dig it. There's his other arm with what looks like a power sword of some sort. There's his power pack with, I guess that's the iron halo with a creepy skull. Because good guys always wear skulls. That's what I've learned. There's this guy. I guess that's like a fallen battle brother or something. Some kind of, I don't know. It's it's an ossified banner, I guess. I'm sure there's something in the war gear description. There's a reason that he's carrying this very macabre detail. So there's that. What else do we have? Okay, there's a little Necron corpse. Very clearly wondering, what the heck, bruh? That was uncalled for. I just came to ask if you wanted any Girl Scout cookies, and you did that! You blew a hole in my skull. That's rude. Rude. Alright, and so here are the heads. There's the I don't need no stinking face helmet or face shield helmet pose. There's this really nice looking chunky helmet. I like that. And this is the back of the head. And over here, you can see it's kind of the full armor. Oh, is that skin? Yeah, okay. So it looks like he has lifted up the visor, and you can probably see the skin in there in case you want a real painting challenge. No thanks. I'm going to stick with helmet. I just, it's a Space Marine. If I wanted to paint faces, I'd go pick up an Imperial Guard army. focus is difficult. And that's it. That is this sprue. It looks like all the bits for this one character are included. So now let's start the build. Let me put it back in here for now. Here is our Primaris Captain. So, time to start building. Hopefully we won't encounter any weirdness with this model. I had to do a little bit of vacuuming of my building area. I didn't realize that was excuse me. I didn't realize that was going to be a thing when I started this hobby. Oh. You know what's missing? I think there's another piece to this. All right, good. I thought I lost the base. When I first got this package, I got the sprue and I got the base, and I remembered getting the base, and I thought, oh, I don't need this thing because I've got this thing, and then didn't think anything of it. So, if you get one of these, just don't lose the bases. I guess this is like a character deal, where they have kind of base topper. So, yeah, it's a pretty neat concept. I can dig it. I can dig it. Not sure what I'm going to do with this base, though. What's going to be the color scheme? I don't know. Well, good news is I didn't lose it. As I was saying earlier, I had to vacuum my hobby area. There was just a lot of little plastic pieces, mostly from when I took a Dremel tool to the Terminator pauldrons, and so there was a lot of red plastic kind of just splashed around. I don't know how often you guys clean your hobby areas. It's just one of those aspects of the hobby I did not anticipate. It's not a big deal. Just unanticipated, that's all. Now, is it just me, or the connections to the sprue more substantial than for other models? Maybe it's just certain pieces, but it feels extra beefy, and extra beefy where this is concerned is not a good thing. I was just talking about how the Space Marine Heroes sprues, like the connections there, were very light. Like they used a light hand to connect everything, and these are just hefty. I don't know that there's any reason to make them this substantial. Now, maybe there is a reason, and I don't know about it because I'm not a professional in that area, but just strikes me on the face of it as there's no reason to have a huge connection to a piece. You're just going to introduce flashing. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. If you see here, right on this kind of the rib area, there's a big old spot of, I guess, flashing, right? I really should just look up that term. And so it's in a place. So normally I'd go in there and just kind of hit it with the buffer, but it's no way. Which means I have to break out my jeweler file to kind of just get in there, but I can't control the grit. I don't know how fine or coarse this is. Yeah, I mean, they could have attached it, say, here, right? Or hell, maybe at the end of this guy, kind of thin it out to show, hey, here's where you cut, and then that just seems like a really tight place for it. Thankfully, the jeweler file seems to be doing a decent job. It's a little rough, but it's better than that. I don't know if it's going to get much better than that. See, in here on this cape, that could have been attached, say, here. And like, I love how the holster has this texture to it. Like it's wavy, like a leather holster would be in real life. But then they attached the sprue to like a curvy piece, so you know, they could have attached, I don't know, at the gun thing, there's a flat edge here where there's a cap to the holster. I don't know. It just, see, I guess here they got this right. Maybe this is a thing that's like for all these Primaris or Indomitus only. Who knows? But the attachment points are a little unsatisfactory, shall we say. Oh, I see. So I guess you have your choice of base toppers. Huh. Okay. Well, I guess if you use this one, you maybe use some of that textured paint kind of all around, and then just work on that. That it might be easier than attempting to do the same thing here and then just filling in all this with texture paint. So unless I'm planning to actually kind of paint and dry brush this stuff, maybe this is the way to go. Well, I'll decide that as I start painting when I get there. Alright, so that looks a little better. Not a ton better. But I'll take it. Not that I have a choice in the matter, but I'll take it. Alright, here's another one. Another instance of that. Look at the size of that connection versus the size of that connection. Why does it have to be that big? It doesn't have to be that big. This is just going to leave a big old mark on that piece. I know you can do better, Games Workshop. I know you can. We've seen it. I seen it! So this kind of armor flourish wasn't around 20 years ago. It's a really nice touch. Don't quite like that there's a hole in the armor where you have to push it through, so then you have to take that. But it is a nice touch, no doubt. Oh, I was wondering where this guy goes, and I remember seeing some images online. So this guy goes on the shield. Seems a little unnecessary. I have no idea how I'm going to paint this guy. But I do know it's going to have its own sub-assembly. I will say this. Only in the grim dark future of the Warhammer 40k future do you take your mortars and stick them on a shield to soak up bullets for you. It's a touch. Well, my usual approach of putting the head on last, clearly not going to fly in this situation. I guess this piece right here, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that piece is what you'd use on this base if you use this rock. I don't have the instruction manual. I just got the package delivered from eBay, so I don't know exactly what's going on there, and I could just look it up. I mean, I'm sure someone's got a screenshot of the instruction manual for this somewhere, but I do what I won't. And I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. Pretty sure. All right. So here he is. Our new captain. So just some commentary about the model, maybe the building process, etc., etc. So all that stuff that happens before I paint. And I'll talk about a bit about what I intend to do for the painting. So It's a cool model. I mean, it is super detailed. The guy is pretty substantial. There's just a lot to like about the model. And the shield, I know it's old hat to you guys, but it is impressive. Little macabre, but it's 40k. Macabre is kind of what we do. So aside from the commentary on the sprues and how they're attached to the pieces, I'm not going to beat that horse because it's already dead. I guess. Ooh, so already I have a problem. This shoulder is a pretty tight fit. Not sure how I'm gonna convert this into a Deathwatch. So the shoulder pad doesn't come off, like it's a part of the arm. Which means I would have to do some serious sanding, and then you'll notice how it's, right up against the backpack. So this is not going to work. I don't see how I'm going to be able to do this. And then, so this is, I guess the captain doesn't have a chapter-specific pauldron, which I'm fine with, but if I wanted to change up the pauldron, I could not. It's part of the thing. It's a feature that you can kind of deal with if you take a sander to it and stuff like that, but it limits your customization options. It almost forces you to kit bash if you want to customize, your captain for your army. And maybe it's just Deathwatch where this is a problem. But it's part of kind of a larger pattern I've seen with this character specifically. There are very limited things you can do with this model. Like, you snap it together and bam, you're done. This is it. This is your toy. It's your chess piece. It's not really designed around customization or anything. Like, here we go. That's the extent of the customization. The iron halo can swivel a bit. But the arms, because they're pushed to fit, they go in one way and stay there. Any deviation, if you rotate it around it, it's gonna separate from the body. And even then, they're attached kind of gingerly. Like, if you mess around with this model too much, the arms are gonna fall off of the shoulders. The way this is posed, he can only ever carry a storm shield. Now, I know the captains, Space Marine captains, have some options for some pistols and stuff like that. Oof, that's rough, man. Because even if you kit bash, like, what pistol do you see anywhere that is connected to the arm that way? You'd have to, I don't know. This is a rough one, man. You'd almost have to replace the entire arm, which I suppose is a possibility. But then now you just have. I don't know. I need to wrap my head around this. Not really wrap my head around it. It's, I know what's going on. Like, you have to make some compromises in order to do a push-to-fit model. And those compromises are poseability. I get that. Did it have to be a push-to-fit model? I don't know what the business model is over at Games Workshop these days. Maybe I suspect they're making some changes to make the game more accessible. Maybe. I don't know if they're solving the right problem with their business model. I don't know that people are turned off from Games Workshop models, or from 40k specifically, because the models are too hard to assemble. I mean, there's definitely some quality issues and there's some fit issues, but that's different than I don't know where the arms go. I don't have any glue. Like, the use of super glue or plastic cement is not your barrier to entry. The $35 for a character, that might be your barrier to entry. But okay, they've gone this route. And maybe, just maybe, because they've limited the poseability, right? Like, you can't do much with the arms. You can't do anything with the torso. Hell, you can't even move the head. You used to be able to at least say, hey, he's looking this way instead of that way. You can't do that here. But as a result, the sculpt looks amazing. Like, there is no like Space Marine character before, like the kind of the old school Space Marine characters. They were clunky AF. Like, they were nice, but they were nice to the standard that existed then. This is something else altogether. It is beautiful. The sculpt, if you can only get one pose for your model, man, this is a great one. So, I'm a little torn, right? You give up some flexibility, you give up a bit of creativity, but as a result, you get, an impressive piece. So, I don't know. I know the Warhammer community is kind of having these discussions, and they've been having these discussions for a while. I'm just a Johnny-come-lately to those discussions. So, yeah. Anyway, here he is, not my Smash Captain. I don't know what the Smash Captain is. I know it's a thing. Anyway, so here he is. He's a pretty awesome dude. He's got some limitations. He's got some areas where he could do a better job. But he just looks... Mwah. Well, as for what I'm going to do for painting, I'm not exactly sure. I know two things. I'm most likely going to use this base. This is going to be a billion little sub-assemblies. This Necron, I don't know if it's a warrior or whatever, but he's going to need a bit more battle damage than just that tiny little hole to the head. So he might lose his arm. He might get some stuff drilled into him, or some chunks cut out, since it's a power sword. And let's just assume that this captain off that Necron, I guess you could have stabbed the Necron in the forehead, just like a little. So he might need a slash or something, which I can probably do. Painting wise, I don't know. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with these pauldrons. If I can't give him... Like, he doesn't necessarily need a Deathwatch pauldron. And that may be the way to go. I was thinking maybe I can just take a Dremel tool to this, or if nothing else, this, and make room for the Deathwatch pauldron. But that seems like a big, big ask. And there doesn't seem to be any other place really for poseability. Maybe I'll try my hand at straightening this up, but no, it's just one chunk. There's really not much I can do in terms of modeling, like customizing it. I'm just gonna end up having to I'll mess up this poor Necron dude, beat him up a little bit more, the ignominy of it all. And just paint this up in Darkwatch color schemes and hope for the best, I guess. Well, I'll do that in another video, so thanks for watching, guys.